What's it like operating in a country that is essentially divided by 5, 6, however many different factions? You know, you got the United States, you have the Assad regime, you have the Russians who are in there, you have Iranian assets that are in there, you got
Yeah.
ISIS that's in there. How the hell do you even know? I mean, how do you know the Russians aren't just going to try rolling through wherever you are?
Well, they tried that once and it didn't work out it didn't
That's
work out
correct.
well for them. I was there for that. The um, it Here's something that this will make some people mad, but I don't, the truth is the truth that I believe generals hide behind, and to be honest with you, so do politicians. They hide behind this lie whenever something they'll say, well, it's really complicated. It's actually not that complicated. You know, ISIS was bad. The Kurds were good. The ISIS was on this side, and we'll just keep killing everyone on that side until we get to Raqqa and we free Raqqa. Um, Syria wasn't a problem. Um, Syria, the whole reason why ISIS was able to take over half of Syria is because the Syrian army was just inept. And they the Syrian army, stayed over on the western side, and they didn't have the ability. They weren't going to go toe to toe with Americans or they. I believe they were more than willing to let America rid their country of the ISIS problem,
Right.
and then they'll get their country back through political means because they know America's going to give it back to them anyway because we're always politically spineless. So that I believe that was their goal, which basically worked out for them. The Russians were just there to do, was just there to stir things up. But I never worried about the Russians, being a part of the problem. The different factions, a slight problem with the different factions because who's a friend one day is an enemy the next. But that that generally wasn't a problem because that really didn't happen within the Kurds. And so as long as you just stayed with the Kurds are really good partners. The Kurds were the best partners we've ever had. They were way better than the Afghans and way better than the Iraqis. They were more than willing to fight for their cause. All they wanted was guns and ammo and point in the direction of the enemy, and they as best they could go take care of the problem. I really respected the Kurds.
That's great to hear, and I've only ever heard good things. I'm sure you can't get into details at all. I know exactly the engagement you're referring to with the Russians. You don't have to talk about. I won't ask you to talk about it because you mentioned it. Do you ever sit back, and for anyone watching this, you can Google it. You'll find out about it in 10 seconds. Do you ever sit back and think to yourself, I can't believe I was a part of something in so many ways that was historic?
Yeah, it actually happened twice. I was a part of the second skirmish, and what'll hit the news big is the first one,
Gotcha.
and rightfully so. And so yeah, the first one was the big worthy one. Yeah, just go Google it. But again, it's in the news. I'll talk about it a little bit, but I tell you what's kind of crazy is getting being a small team and getting an intel brief about how to about all the different Russian tanks and Syrian tanks that are in the area. That was definitely a first. And going, what are we doing? Like this, I mean, we're not the team that goes up against tanks. Although ironically enough, we've taken out more than I don't know, maybe more than anyone else. Just out of the skirmishes that we've been in and the places we've been. That's not true. Invasion of Iraq, ODAs took out a lot of tanks through javelins, but we've had our fair share with javelins, and it was definitely a crazy brief and a crazy time. You don't really think that you're going to go toe to toe with the Russians, so to speak. But Syria was a wild time.